Where will the Raiders finish this season in the AFC West?
Unfortunately, I have them at the bottom. Skip, check this out. The AFC West have 3 of the 4 top teams that's with the best Super Bowl odds coming out of the AFC. The Bills have the best odds. The Chiefs are 2. The Chargers are 3. The Broncos are 4. In the entire AFC, and those teams are all in the same division, the AFC West with the Raiders. I believe I think the Raiders' offense is going to be dynamic. You get Waller, he's back healthy. Devontae Adams is legit. Hunter Renfrow is better than people think. They look at him and like, oh, man, I'm finna D this dude up. And the next thing you know, Skip, he's taking off going for 20 yards after he done faked somebody out of the jock. So I do think offensively they're going to be good. My question is defensively. Now, I know Max Crosby. He's going to give me 1,000% effort on every single play. Chandler Jones concerns me, Skip. Chandler Jones had 5 sacks in the first game against Tennessee. The rest of the season, he had 5.5. That's concerning to me. The back end is not, I don't believe it's nearly as good as it needs to be in order for you to make a deep playoff run. The Chargers, I like the addition of Khalil Mack. Pair him with Bosa. I like J.C. Jackson on the back end. Pair him with a Derwin James. So, Skip, I think that the Chargers, and we know what Herbert in that offense, we know what they can do offensively. They just need to get a few stops defensively, and hopefully they don't have to go for it 34 times on 4th down this year. Basically, they're going for it 2 times a game on 4th down. So, for me, I think the Raiders are going to be at the bottom of the division, and I got them at 9 wins. I think I got them at 9. I got them at 9 wins. I think you had them at 10-7. I got them at 9-8.
Shannon Sharpe. After I watched that game last night, I'm at least going up 1 game to 11 for the Raiders.
Wow.
Who did win 10 a year ago.
Okay.
I realize you can laugh at me if you choose. Feel free. It was the first preseason game, the Hall of Fame game, and this was against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who look like they're going to be a little better this year. And yet you can take nothing away from that kind of preseason game except this. I just liked the Raiders' body language last night. I liked the way they came across as a group on the field. I liked the way they carried themselves, even the second and third teamers, because their body language looked like they were extremely confident, like they believe they're going to be really good this year, and I think they're going to be really good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go completely out on the limb here. This feels like the team that could shock that division and win it this year.
Win the division?
I do believe this, and I'll tell you why. I do believe in Josh McDaniels, and I know it's hard for you to overcome what happened or didn't happen in his first head coaching stint with the Denver Broncos. It turned into a disaster.
I think I like him the second time around better than I do the first time. I think he learned a valuable lesson.
I think he learned lots of lessons. I believe he can really call a game and call plays from situation to situation. And I keep trying to underrate Derek Carr, and he keeps sort of proving me a little bit wrong and a little bit more wrong and a little bit more wrong. But the prospect of Josh McDaniels coaching him and calling plays for him, and he's throwing to not just some receiver, but his college teammate with whom he has a pretty deep bond, who is coincidentally the best receiver in football in Devontae Adams. You just mentioned Hunter Renfrow. As a slot-type receiver, I'm not sure there's anybody better. Cooper Kupp plays more on the outside, obviously, but Hunter Renfrow is really underrated to me, and he got his money. And we all know Darren Waller is just a pure pass-catching tight end. He's up there. He's top 3 or 4, right?
Absolutely, absolutely,
okay.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about weaponry? That's some weaponry. And then I love Max Crosby. He grows on me every time I see him because, to your point, max effort and big-time ability. And I just think if you put Chandler Jones within the confines of this group, whatever he has left, he's going to give you. And I think he'll be revitalized. I think that Arizona situation went from bad to worse, and they kept falling apart down the stretch, in part because the smallish quarterback, got beat up and fell apart. And if you give me Max Crosby and Chandler Jones, I got a chance. And you talk about the back end, and Jonathan Abram, I just like him. He will bring the wood. He will lay the lumber on you.
But he's not good in coverage, though, Skip. And that's
not
what
great. But that Trevor Moehrig that they took in the second round, listen, I watched him a lot at TCU. He is a baller, and I believe he will help. And that Rock Ya-Sin that they got now at cornerback was a second-round pick. I think they're better. I think they're going to be much improved on the back end. And then offensive line has always been a question, but Colton Miller was a mid-first-round pick, and Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama was a mid-first-round pick, and that's your left tackle and your right tackle. So at least you've got cornerstone tackles who are mid-first-round picks, and I believe Josh will be able to work with that. And in the end, you look at this team and how confident it is versus the other three teams who have question marks to me, because you're the first to say Mahomes is going to miss Tyreek. It's going to be a brave new world for Patrick Mahomes. Will he still be very good? Sure, he'll be very good. Will he be a world beater next year? Well, he's coming off his worst year where he's down in every statistical category, even though you still defend him. But are you sure they're going to be quite as good as they have been without the ultimate weapon in Tyreek? I don't think Mahomes is going to be quite as good.
But I like the addition of Juju. I like the addition of drafting Sky Moore. I like Valdez Scantling, who from all reports that he and Juju have been having a very, very good camp, and Sky Moore is starting to make a lot of plays, Skip. But to go back to your point about Josh McDaniels, Skip, Coach Belichick, how did he do the first time around as a coach? How did he do the second time around?
Okay.
Mike Shanahan, how did he do the first time around? How did he do the second?
Agreed.
Tony Dungy, the second time around. So you got guys that they learn, like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this, maybe I should do it like that. I'm sure Josh McDaniels now is a lot more secure, and he can be Josh. He went to Denver trying to be Coach Belichick 2.0. No, you're Josh McDaniel. Be the best Josh McDaniel, and that's good enough. So I think he learned a valuable lesson. I do, Skip. I do think they're going to be really, really good offensively, because there's no doubt in my mind he can dial up the play calling. He's as good as we have in this league.
I agree.
My concerns is on the defensive side of the football.
Okay.
But if, like you said now, if Chandler Jones can give you 11, 12, 13 sacks, and Max Crosby continues to do what he's been doing, okay, now your back end is not going to have to hold up nearly as long.
Agreed. And quickly on your Broncos, you got a brand new, very young coach in Nathaniel Hackett, and you got a brand new quarterback who's not brand new. He's aging. He's a little beat up.
Cook it, Russ.
Is he going to cook? He did not cook last year in Seattle. Was that his fault or their fault?
He didn't want to be there anymore. Okay. He and Pete had them fell out. Pete wanted to do one thing, wanted to still be a defensive-based run team, and Russ says, I need to cook. I'm a full-fledged Michelin 5-star chef, and I need to cook, and you won't let me.
All right. I have my doubts, and I also have some doubt about Justin Herbert, who you have crowned, you have anointed, and I'm not sold completely.
You're a bad dude.
Too many interceptions, takes too many sacks, tries to make too much happen, holds the ball too long. I'm not completely sold. I'm more sold right now on Derek Carr than I am on Justin Herbert.
You ought to be ashamed.
No, I'm not ashamed. I'm just telling you what my gut feeling was coming off that game last night. I think the Raiders are going to be the surprise of the NFL, and I'll bump it up to 11 games and say that will be just barely enough to win the toughest division in pro football.
You must have had Taco Bell last night. You say you got a feeling. Because that's the only feeling that you got. You must have had Taco Bell. Because you ain't got no feeling about this prediction in the AFC West, because that's not good.
No, I don't eat Taco Bell, so I don't even know.
Oh. Okay.
I know you do. So
no, I do not. I've never had Taco Bell.
I don't eat it either. But I tell you what, Josh McDaniels looked organized, in control, and I really liked the play calling last night.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.